I mean, obviously, all of last year was really heavy, and it was almost like from a COVID to then that happened, and obviously being a Black person in general, it just kind of felt like this is so overwhelming. It's like already we're just dealing with all of this pandemic stuff, and now this.
And that's in your personal life before it even gets to the professional.
Yeah. And it kind of felt, because it wasn't obviously just sad as well. I think because of what was happening and we were at home, it was almost like this magnifying glass now was just like, all of a sudden, wow, there's racism. It's like, it's been there.
Yeah.
And then, you know, obviously everyone was like this kind of solidarity. We're all in solidarity. And it was just like, okay, now.
Yeah.
So even, I think a lot of Black and brown people kind of went in before even we were approached. And even, I think, like, all right, let's be white people within the organisation, I think was already kind of like, okay, how do we deal with this? And you could sense that. And I mean, I'm all about energy, so I can sense that anyway.
Yeah.
But you could sense that. And I think for a lot of Black and brown people, we kind of went in with, you know, this is our trauma. We are not prepared now to be discussing our trauma in order to teach people about racism.
Yeah.
And I think because that was the narrative even before we were asked, I think a lot, like even within SAL as well, I think they were very cautious not to do that. So obviously we were part of the conversation, but they were very, you know what I mean? They kind of went out their way to be like, well, okay, we're going to bring in an organisation that deals with this, and then sort of set up talks and things like that. So I think they were very kind of like, you know what I mean, cautious not to be like, because you are the, you know what I mean, the Black person in the organisation, we're expecting you now to fix it. Because I think, you know, I spoke to quite a few people and made it very clear that it's not our problem to fix.
Yeah, and I think a lot of, I think from the outside of all of us consuming different, you know, even stuff like Nike or whatever, like we saw a lot of companies coming out being like, oh, we are also not racist, just to let you know at this time. And it's like so many statements and so many, you know, posts and things and all the solidarity and stuff. And I'm like having conversations with people as well, is like that fell from the people that I spoke to, like it fell on a lot of them who it's more of an insult, you know, when it's like, not only do you have the responsibility on you to help us to look not racist, but it's like, this is also something that we've been talking about for years and you haven't listened until now. And now you want to come to us and say, oh that thing that you guys always complain about, like, help us fix it. And it's like, so I guess, you know, that's a good sign, at least from Saddlers, that it didn't, you know, do that. Because I definitely have friends that have said the opposite, that they did get.
I mean, there was definitely frustration, because even with bringing in an external organisation to kind of speak about these issues, there is still this feeling of, you kind of think, but we've been talking about this for years.
Yeah.
And it takes for you to bring someone else in, or for this to happen, and also to bring someone else in to be like, now we're going to start this conversation. So it's kind of hard, because, I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but there's this thing of where you're like, this is overwhelming and I don't want to be speaking about this every day. But also, if I'm in this, you know what I mean? If I'm in this position, I have to be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So I do have to speak about it. So I think it's almost just like navigating when it is that I just need to take time out, or when I'm not prepared to be part of this, but also knowing that you do have to be part of the conversation for things to change.
Yeah, I guess also it's like, in a way, that's what I guess Black people have wanted, is to be heard and to speak about this on a global scale. But then it's just, by the time it came around, I can imagine being so tired that it's like, this is what I wanted, but like, it's tiring now to do it. Like, we've been talking about it for so long and not being heard, that now when you say, all right, now we're down, it's like, I guess we won, but
and it's always it's in the middle of a like COVID, so you're also, it's almost this thing of like, I'm dealing with this like everyone else is dealing with this other thing. And now, do you know what I mean? It's almost that thing of like, every day I'm Black, so every day I'm facing something. And it's almost that thing, I just want to be like everyone else, where it's just like, all I'm dealing with is my life. Kind of thing. So.
And I think also, like, you know, this is the same sort of thing that we talk about with hip hop, I guess. And, you know, especially for myself, like being, or classing myself as like a guest in the culture, is like, we have to be very aware that it's if the proverbial shit hits the fan, we can turn it off
Yeah.
Whereas a black person can't turn it off. So these people can choose to come into work and talk about racial issues. And if they get tired of it, they can just stop.
Yeah.
Whereas like you might not have that luxury to be able to stop talking about racial issues because it's what you live with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's also, that's another layer of sensitivity that people have to have, I guess, you know, especially in organizations where it's like, this isn't just a work program. This isn't just like, you know, if I'm working with safeguarding with children, it's like, I don't have kids. So when I go home, I can stop talking about kids. Like, do you know what I mean?